Okay, that was not a pretty game on our part by any account, and as a head coach of this football program, I'll take sole responsibility for that loss, the preparation for that loss, and how we respond to that loss. Louisiana Tech was the more disciplined, the more physical team in that game. We had 5 turnovers, which is extremely uncharacteristic for our program, and we're not going to beat East El Paso Little Miners with 5 turnovers. It just ain't going to happen. There's not a team on our schedule that can't beat us as handily as Louisiana Tech did if we turned the ball over 5 times. They scored 42 points off of our turnovers. We didn't handle the multiple front looks well, which means we need to do some things to do that. We didn't do a very good job at the first level in the run game. Third downs, we were only 5 of 17. We want to be at 50%. We gave up 3 sacks. They had 11 negative plays behind the line of scrimmage, which is something, again, we pride ourselves on. We did not do a very good job there. We had 2 drops and only 2.2 yards per average carry, which our goal is always 4.5. So on any account, offensively, we did not achieve any of our goals, and the end result is what you saw Saturday night. Defensively, our goals going into the game were to contain number 28, and at times we did that. He was at 4.1 in average, which he's a 5.2 guy. He had only had 86 yards. But I thought all in all, there was too many long, explosive runs. There were 6 runs of over 10 yards, and those are more due to the quarterback on the zone reads. And then they had long passes of 69, 31, and 21. So we did not eliminate chunks, which is a goal going into the game. We did not get pressure on the quarterback. We had 0 sacks, only 3 quarterback hits, and he had 3 touchdowns completed. We did force 2 turnovers. I thought DeCarlos Renfro had an outstanding play on his interception, and then Roy Williams forced a fumble that was recovered by the defense, but we didn't take advantage of those turnovers. And we did lose our eyes a couple times on defense, one time on the screen and go, and we had a couple assignment errors, again, that we need to clean up. Special teams. Mike Ruggles, again, has been doing an excellent job. He averaged 47.7 in that game, which I think puts him at number 1 in Conference USA. He's really improved as a kicker. He had a long of 54 and 1 touchback. But our punt coverage unit, too many missed tackles. They had a 12.4-yard average, well above what we want to give up. We didn't have any punt returns in the game, which was kind of indicative of how that game turned out. Kickoff cover. They had 1 return for 26 yards and 1 successful sky kick that Maddox placed well. Kick return, again, there was very poor communication on the back end. Inexcusable that we would field a ball inside the 10-yard line on its track going out of bounds. That was a communication issue. And there was another communication issue on the back end that we need to get cleaned up. And then PAT field goal, which is, the protection has been extremely sound all year. They got us in our right side B gap and blocked one and made an excellent team play on their part, converting that into a touchdown. So there was not a phase on that field, offense, defense, or special teams, where we did a good job. And again, that responsibility falls on me. I told the team the other day, we need to be better at facing adversity if things do go wrong early, because that does happen in games. You see it all the time. And even at the point where it's 28-3, that's not an insurmountable lead in college football if you keep plugging away and chipping away at it one play at a time. We did not do a good job of responding to adversity, and again, that falls on me. I got to do a better job of getting those guys doing that. It all starts in practice. Which, to be honest with you, I was extremely surprised because we had an excellent week of practice. There was a lot of energy, but it didn't carry over to the game, and we got to do a better job of doing that. We'll put this one behind us quickly, but we have to learn from it. There will be some changes as far as how we structure practice. That's between us and the players. There will be some changes in some different areas of personnel-wise, and certainly, we're not going to sit there and say schematically we're going to do the exact same things over and over again and expect different results. Okay, so we have to change some things schematically to put our best players in a chance to make plays and put ourselves in a position where we can have some success and energy. I told the team yesterday, I really do like this team. I like the way they work. I'm not down on them. I'm probably more down on myself for the preparation leading up to that game. And trust me, I will get that cleaned up, and I know these kids will come back fighting. And that's what we have to do. We have a conference game at home against a very good Old Dominion team that's 3-3. They have an outstanding quarterback that really won the equivalent of the Heisman at the FCS level when he was a sophomore and threw for 4,000 yards and 33 touchdowns last year. He's off to a good start again this year. They sling it all over the yard. They play with 4 wide receivers. They have 2 very big physical wide receivers, and they have 2 very small explosive wide receivers. They have a quality running back. They also have a good offensive line that does a good job protecting him. I know they have 17 sacks, but it's for many times as they throw the ball, they've been doing a good job. They're the least penalized team in Conference USA, and their last 2 losses that they've had were to quality bowl opponents with Middle Tennessee and Marshall, who's probably playing as good as anybody in the country right now. Defensively, number 95's got 6 tackles for losses and 3 sacks. They've had a very productive linebacking core unit. They've combined for 125 tackles, which is really impressive. And then their leading tackler, a strong safety who's got good size, about 6'2", 210's returning, number 24 from last year. He's also leading their team in tackles this year. They have forced turnovers. They got 8 fumbles and 3 interceptions, so they have 11 turnovers on defense, and they have 34 tackles for losses and 11 sacks. So they have been having splash plays on defense. We got to do a good job protecting Jamil, and we got to do a better job of opening lanes for our running backs in the run game. Special teams, their kickoff return unit, number 4, wide receiver is a returner. He's averaging 16.1. And then they also use a halfback, number 31. He's averaging 17.4. But where they've done a really good job is their punt return unit. Another wide receiver, number 5, has a 16.7-yard average return. That's outstanding. That's also leading Conference USA. So offensively, defensively, and special teams all present different challenges. But my focus right now is on this team, UTEP Miners, and getting them prepared for this game and teaching young men a lesson about bouncing back because just like in life, you're going to get your tails whipped once in a while, and we did. And it's how they respond to this is how they're going to be judged. And how they respond to this reveals their character. And I know they're going to come back swinging. And I know the coaches are in there hard preparing now for Old Dominion. And we're going to do our best to get a win in front of the Miner fans. Any questions? It is between those two, and it's a you-me call, and they didn't do a good job of executing that. It's a very simple communication, and for whatever reason, at that particular one, it didn't happen. But I know those two will get that corrected.
Teams are kind of stacking the box on here. You're going to have to be able to throw the ball better to kind of change that.
Yeah, we have to throw the ball more efficiently, and that's a team thing. It comes down to protection. It comes down to running crisp routes. Sometimes when you see a turnover, it's always kind of put on the quarterback with the throw. A lot of that has a lot of things, throwing off his back foot because of a protection, maybe the receiver cutting a route short or not running the proper route, and you have 2 people on top of each other. So just like the run game is a team effort, interceptions, throwing the ball is a team effort as well. We're not going to sit pat and think we're going to do the same things in the passing game again. Schematically, we need to do some things differently, and also there'll be some slight personnel adjustments to get the right players in the right spots for those plays. But you're exactly right, Brett. We got to improve in our passing game, or you're going to see a 9-man box. Well, they got some chunk plays on us. And again, it really just hasn't been one guy. I can't sit here and say, well, one guy's been getting beat. It's been a guy here, a guy there. The one play, I'll give it to them. That kid just made an unbelievable play at the back of the end zone. That was just a highlight play. Hats off to that kid. But we can't lose, when we are in man coverage, any type of eyes in the backfield where we lose one step on coverage or it's going to be, a long bomb. And these guys chunk the ball down the field. We're going to have to be extremely focused. And we're going to be down some numbers in the secondary, with DeCarlos going down and Ishmael going down. But, again, guys are going to have to step up and make plays.
When you talk about trying to shore things up as a coach, what you say you blame yourself. What areas are you talking about? What do you think you need to do to stop this?
Well, anytime there's an issue, there's two routes you can go. You can start pointing fingers and start doing the blame game, or you can look in the mirror and say, what can I do better to help this program get better? I'm at that stage. I want to look and see what can I do to help this team get better from a practice standpoint, from a schematic standpoint, which I'll be willing to change some things. I'm not hard-headed when it comes to that. From a personnel standpoint, if there's somebody that can do something better than somebody that's in there, I have no problem putting that person in there regardless of age and trying to do anything to help this team get better. But you're never going to see me sit up here and blame a coach or a player or a scheme or anything like that. I'm not into that. That's not my philosophy. That may be some other coach's philosophy. It ain't mine. All right? I'm more into fixing things and solving problems than I am about blaming things or boo-hooing.
You say changes in personnel in the passing game. Maybe there's some receiver we should look for next time.
I think you'll have to probably ask me that at the end of the week, Brett. We do have some ideas of guys we want to do in certain packages. I know you're there every day, so I'm sure you'll see it. But, yeah, there will be some changes there. Again, I love playing in front of the UTEP fans. They support us like no other. They're loud. They're passionate. For us to come home and homecoming with the Centennial celebration, you can see we're breaking out the old school helmets, which I kind of like. There's going to be a lot of energy there, and we're going to need them. Sometimes you need to be picked up a little bit. And after a tough loss like that, nothing picks you up more than the home crowd coming out and having your back. And I know our players are looking forward to coming home and playing homecoming. And, the only way to get the stink off you or erase the tape when you put some bad tape out there is get right back out there and play. And we're looking forward to doing that.
Given what you're coming off of, does this game suddenly take on? Is this the most important of your tenure?
To me, Brad, every game's the most important. Each week's the most important. I know it sounds cliche, but after a big win, you got to put it behind you quick. After a big loss, like we had the other night, you got to put it behind you quick. And that's what I love about the game of football. Each week's a new challenge. Each week presents new challenges on the field, and we're getting ready for this game. I'm not even concerned about any game after that game. That he's got to do a better job securing the football, that I trust him, that I know he's going to correct that, and I know he's going to do a better job. You just got to teach in situations like that. And even in a game like that, when things aren't going your way, you can't lose opportunities to teach young men how to play the game the proper way. And, I know that he's a very emotional kid. I know he takes it to heart. He never wants to do anything that hurts his teammates, but he also needs to know, how that affects the game and how he can do it better. I don't know so much test them. I think it'll bring out the character of the senior leadership, and I'm banking on it being in a positive way. Anybody else? All right, thanks, guys.